Hello, and welcome, my friends, to the next video in the Create Better Content series, where I show you how to tap into your creativity so that you can stay consistent with your marketing and reach more customers. My name is Penny, and I'm going to guide you through this content development process. I want to teach you how to create engaging content for social media, sales pages, email sequences, all of those things that you use for your marketing to reach qualified customers. And if you want to learn more about creativity and how this can help you develop your content marketing plans, I would love to see you hit that button below and subscribe to this channel. And below in the description box, there are several links. One of the links that you're going to see is for the Content Prompt Playbook. I just launched this. This is a brand new free workbook that I am sharing with marketing managers, small business owners. This is for those of you out there who are struggling to figure out what to post. If you're just wasting hours trying to come up with content ideas only to end up posting nothing, the link is below so you can grab this step-by-step guide. It's going to show you how to talk to Chat GPT so that it gets what you need for your marketing messages. And another link that you're going to see down there is so that you can subscribe to the Marketing Strategy Collective. This is where an amazing group of small businesses owners are gathering on Patreon and our monthly Zoom calls. We are learning new skills together. We are improving our businesses. We are seeing momentum, and we're not going to work in a solo bubble and finally get the help that we need. So you see the links below and you know what to do to learn more. All right, so let's keep going today. So today's video, let's keep talking about being consistent with your content creation. And I want to say this. How many times have you sat there and been going through your stuff, going through your marketing, going through your plans? You say, okay, this is the month. I'm going to stay consistent with my content. This is it. Only to find yourself maybe like 2 weeks in and you're like, I'm like so out of steam. I don't know if I can do this anymore. The truth is about all that is consistency isn't about your willpower, isn't about you saying it out loud that you're going to promise yourself that you're going to be consistent. Consistency comes from habits, small, repeatable routines that you do on a consistent basis when you are creating content. And this is how you stay consistent. It's something that you do as part of what your weekly list of items on your to-do list is. It's not just something you squeeze your marketing in because you finally remembered you didn't post something. So today's episode, what I want to do is I want to break down workflow habits, your content workflow, and talk about the habits that you can develop. And these habits are going to keep you consistent, even during those times in your business and your life when you get busy. So these are the exact routines that I actually teach my clients. And these are the routines that we talk about in the Marketing Strategy Collective. These are the things that I show people what to do when you feel stuck or overwhelmed. And they are going to help you, especially with that thing called content burnout. So before we get into the whole 3 habits things, I want to talk about what's the whole point about habits and why they even matter in your workflow. Let me just get a little scientific-y on you, because here's where it comes from. Habits are all about the way that our brains work and our brains function, because your brain loves routines. It loves when you do the same thing over and over again. It loves it when something feels automatic. Think about when you get up in the morning. You don't really think about the steps that you're going to do. Shut the alarm off, go to the bathroom, brush your teeth, get a cup of coffee. All of those things that you do, and you probably have other things in there. Maybe you meditate. Maybe you're reading something. Maybe, whatever it is that you do, these are your morning habits. But you don't wake up in the morning and you have a checklist and you say, okay, went to the bathroom, brushed my teeth, check, check, check. You just do them. And that's what I mean. Your brain loves these routines. Your brain just functions so well when we're not, questioning what's coming next. So that's why habits are so important when it comes to your content workflow, because when we're thinking about this whole idea of being consistent, I truly believe that a lot of us bank on this idea that we're going to be relying on inspiration. We're going to feel motivated. We're going to tell ourselves, because this is that month where they're finally going to stay consistent. That's our motivation to keep us going. But what's going to happen is you're just going to run out of gas, and you're going to run out really, really fast. But now, if this is your goal, to be more consistent, and you decide to build habits into your workflow, that's when your content creation process becomes natural. It becomes a part of everything that you're doing every week. Like when you check your email in the morning, or the way you make your morning coffee. That's what I'm talking about. Because even when you're busy, and let's be real, as small business owners, marketing managers, we're always busy. So we can't even sit there and say that, oh, there's time I'm not busy. We're always busy. And these habits, when we get these habits in place, this is the thing that's going to keep you consistent. Having these habits that connect to your content workflow is what's going to keep you sharing your marketing messages and not just dropping off the face of the planet when you get busy. So let's talk about these habits. The first habit I want to talk about is something called batching. You might have heard the words with regards to content batching. But basically, it's a workflow habit, batching, and it means grouping similar tasks together. So you're not constantly switching gears from one thing to the other. So let's say maybe one time you're batching and all you're doing is brainstorming ideas, bullet points, writing out some copy ideas, like that kind of stuff. So you're in that side of your brain that's just functioning off of copy. And then maybe you spend another day of your batching work recording films, creating images, or another time you're blocking off time for batching to do editing or scheduling your posts. All of these things happen because what we're doing here is we're batching these similar type of steps, similar type of action things that we're going to do. Instead of just looking at it like this, instead of let's say, I'm going to create one post. So you do the one post, you do the brainstorm, you do the writing, you do the recording, you do the video editing, or you write up a blog post, or you create the image, or wherever it is that you're posting it, and you do all of these things all in one sitting. Batching basically means that you're creating several pieces of content in one sitting. So you're doing several brainstorming for several different posts, several recording for several different videos. Maybe you've got some on TikTok, you've got some running on Instagram Reels, some of them on LinkedIn. So what you're doing with batching is you're actually creating more content and doing it in a way that works with a habit that's connected to the workflow. That sounded very, very technical. As I was saying the words, I heard them coming out of my mouth, and I'm like, that, I don't know if that really made sense. Let me break that down. Because what I'm talking about here is when we are working on these types of marketing pieces and parts that go together within our social media posts, with our blog posts, email messages, sales pages, all of that stuff that we use to share, our marketing messages. Batching is going to help us reduce the mental capacity that we have, because you're not constantly switching between thinking up ideas and then writing it and then designing graphics and then recording things. Instead, you're kind of staying in the zone, one creative zone for one particular step, one particular action step. And when we do this, it makes the whole process go faster and it's easier. Because when we're switching out our skills, when we're moving from designing to recording to publishing and all of those kinds of things, that is when your brain is like, okay, wait a minute, I gotta stop, I gotta start, I gotta stop again, I gotta start, I gotta stop and start. And so when we start doing this, this actually adds extra time, because it takes time for our brain and everything to get back into this process. So if you're writing 1 minute and then you're designing something in Canva the next, and then trying to figure out hashtags, your brain's like, oh, okay, hold on. This is why I'm getting exhausted. This is where the burnout's coming from. But if you look to batch, it saves time, it saves energy, it saves your brain capacity, and it keeps you in this creative flow because you're just focusing on one type of task. And this stuff is so great. When batching is so amazing, especially when your life and your business get busy. Because what happens is, when you've been batching, you've already been creating things. You're not just waiting for that one day to sit down and think about what you're going to post, to create it, to publish it, to post it. You already have things in the process. You've been working on other ideas. You've already got ideas. You've already got videos recorded. You just need to pull everything together. So your workflow gets built on this system that just supports you no matter where you are and whether you have, this is to do. So that sentence didn't come out right. You already have this content ready to go, and your workflow is basically this system that you pull together. And putting the batching into the workflow is one of the things that's going to create a huge difference between being reactive and being proactive when it comes to posting. And this shift, this habit that you can create with the, creating with content batching, is what is going to give you the consistency. All right, so let's talk about the second habit. The second habit, something that I do every single week. I do something called a weekly check-in. And so I really advise you, if you have never done these before, this is a really great habit to get into. It means anything from like maybe about 30 minutes every single week. You could do it at the beginning of the week. It could be something that you do at the end of the week. But it's a really good idea to take a look at everything that you've been doing. What did you finally post? How did it perform? Look at your analytics. Look at the insights. Is there something that you need to adjust for the week? Did people open your emails? Look at the subject lines. Look at the pictures. This tiny little habit right here of doing a weekly check-in and adding this into your workflow keeps you and your marketing from just kind of being random and going off course. Because what's going to happen is, if you don't check in with what's going on with your marketing, at least on a weekly basis, time flies by. And suddenly you realize maybe you haven't posted. Maybe you realize that you've been randomly posting up quotes and some videos of, hey, I'm down here at the grocery store, and talking about something that's not even connected to your business goals and the things that you're wanting to share. This weekly check-in is going to help you reconnect to your goals. It's going to help you ask your questions every single week. Is the content that you're sharing moving people towards your offers? Is your content building engagement? Are you just posting to post? So when you think about it from that place, that is one of the things that this weekly habit of doing a check-in is so important, because I really believe that one of the biggest reasons that small business owners are struggling with consistency is because they're just winging it. They're waiting until they have a free moment, and then they think of something clever to post. And then maybe that works once, or maybe you showed up at an event and you got some really great coverage. But long term, that does not work for consistency. What that does work for is stress. And what that does work for is your content not being cohesive. So here's where your workflow kicks in. A good workflow includes not just, content batching, but setting aside time every single week where you review your goals, you look at your calendar, what's coming up, and you decide what content you're going to create. When you start to create this habit into your week, this habit is going to transform your content from being some random scrambling strategy into an actual system, because it's going to allow you to plan your content ahead of time. When you start seeing what's working and what's not working, you begin to post better. And when you begin to post better and you begin to post more intentional, purposeful content, you start to get more consistent results. So if you're finding this helpful so far, please make sure to subscribe and hit the little bell below. I post new episodes every single week, and I'm helping small business owners like you build more consistent, creative marketing systems that are going to actually work and make you more sales. Alrighty then, let's jump right back in. The habit number 3. Your third habit that I want to share with you is something called automate and schedule. This third habit is automation. You're scheduling your content. And this is where this workflow routine, this process of your really, really shines, because it frees you from having to be, on all the time. You do not have to log into your social media platforms and post. You do not have to be there every single second and every single moment. You can schedule this, because if we look at this from this place, the workflow tells us, we've got our content calendar, that's our map. And then our workflow is basically the action steps and the implementation to get us there. Well, the scheduling tools are going to be one of those final pieces in the workflow that's going to make sure that you are getting out there and you aren't just creating content and it's just sitting there in your laptop. You're actually going to share it. So whether you're using those free tools, and every single social platform has a free internal scheduling tool that doesn't cost you any money, but there are programs out there, some paid software, which you might want to take a look at. And those particular programs have different kind of analytics and insights, and they may even be able to schedule and automate other pieces and parts of your marketing. So I'm not saying that it's just free only, or nor am I just saying it's paid only. I'm saying take a look at both of those and see what works for you, because the habit of scheduling gives you consistently without extra effort. And this is especially important, especially during the times when you are completely busy and you've lost track of time. Those moments when you're saying to yourself, did I just post anything this week? I don't remember if I posted anything this week. Well, you don't have to choose between remembering to post this week, running your business, and showing up online, because your workflow makes sure that it happens. Your workflow shows up like with this a scheduling tool. One of the biggest pieces of your workflow is going to be your scheduling tool. So you're not manually posting. This is one of these habits that when you put it all with the others, it is going to not just save you time, it's going to save you so much energy and so much stress. So let's recap all of this. So when we think about this workflow, we think about the steps that go into the workflow, but I want you to put another layer on that workflow so that you know that you can stay consistent with it. It's about adding these 3 habits in there. Batching your content, planning your content, your weekly check-ins, and scheduling in advance. Because each of these habits, when they are together in a workflow, these are the backbone. These are the things that are going to keep you consistent. These are the things that are going to keep you moving forward. Because a workflow isn't just about, let's say, I want to be organized. You can use an Excel spreadsheet to keep you organized. Your workflow is about protecting your time, protecting your energy, making sure that your marketing is staying visible, and keeping you consistent, even when stuff around you in life is getting messy. And when you pull these habits into your workflow, into whatever you do every single week, you stop relying on, I've got the willpower to stay consistent, and crossing your fingers and hoping I remember to post this week. Instead, your workflow does the work for you. It does the heavy lifting for you. And when you put these 3 workflow habits on top of the workflow itself, it's not about me asking you to do more. What you're doing is you're creating a more fully comprehensive system that becomes sustainable, and it keeps you consistent, and it helps with that dreaded content burnout that we've all talked about. So I want you to think about this week. Think about what habit you could start this week. You don't have to do all of them at once, because remember, we're building consistency here. I'm not trying to make your life chaotic. Pick one habit. Think about content batching. Think about a weekly check-in. Think about what could you be doing better for scheduling and automation. Choose one habit that feels natural. And when you get that one down and when you get that one in place and it's a part of what you're doing every week, you add in the next. Because the more that you work, the more that you keep sharing your information, the more people that you're going to reach, and the more customers you are going to sign up and you're going to start to work and you're going to start to be a part, and they're going to learn more about your business. And this is your workflow. You can see me trying to come up with the words, but you know what I'm trying to say. This workflow is what's going to actually make a huge transformation in your business. So thank you so much for joining me today. If this episode's giving you ideas that you can start developing some habits for your content workflow, I would love to see you hit that like button and then hit the share button and share this with another business owner. And if you want to take this further, we are actually focusing on this in the Marketing Strategy Collective. We're taking all of these ideas about habits and workflows, and we're going to turn them into a content plan that actually drives sales for you. Stop working in a solo bubble and work in a collaborative space. Learn the skills that you need to help you keep moving forward, especially in this crazy economy. You see the links below, and you know what to do to learn more, to get the help you need to see real growth in your business. Because you are magnificent, my friend. And let me be the first to say, I'm proud of you. Until next time.